Welcome to my channel, and this is the second week of a creative task or creative challenge I've set myself in January. So, as a reminder, in June, I think, of this year, maybe even earlier, I put together a bag full of odds and ends of wool and projects. And the idea is that I was going to choose a different piece out of this bag every single day throughout January, and this was going to spark inspiration for something. So some of it is stuff that's attached to other projects, so it might be a prompt to finish that project. Some of it's just interesting wool that I want to kind of look at with new eyes. I've got granny squares and swatches and things in here as well. And yeah, I just wanted to kind of kickstart something. And because of my horrendous memory, I've pretty much forgotten everything that's in here, which is good. So it's all a bit of a surprise. I already did 1 week of it. You can see the video on my channel, and I'm tagging these, I think, as creative challenge. So yeah, it's going to be a mixture of crochet and knitting. And I think that's everything. So I had a really good time doing it. I ended up doing 6 days of choosing from the bag and then 1 day of finishing it all off. Yeah, and this week, it's the second week, so it's the 8th of Jan, and I have decided that what I'm going to look to do this week is to choose only squares from the bag. So that's various granny squares and swatches and things, which if you're anything like me, I feel like every crocheter and knitter has got various squares lying around. I want to find something to do with them all, basically, and that's going to be my challenge for this week. So I'm going to choose the first one for today. Okay, so this is it. Not completely traditional granny square. We've got the normal kind of start of a granny square, and then here I seem to have done a double and then a chain and then double and a chain all the way around it. It's acrylic. I don't really have much memory of working on this. I think it was probably just a bit of an experiment or something, like really no memory at all. But I mean, I love the colour combination, always love a bit of pink and red. And I think what I've done is quite interesting in terms of the double and space, double and space. And then I seem to have done 3 doubles in the corners. Yeah, interesting. What I have also done, which I think is completely unforgivable of past me, is that I've woven in the ends. And there's not really enough wool here to justify pulling it apart. So I'm going to turn it into something, but I don't know what. And I know that I don't have any more of these colours, so it's not like I could make a second one and maybe turn it into like gloves or something, or just make more and turn it into something bigger. So this is going to be an interesting one. All right, gonna think on it, and I will check back in with you tomorrow to let you know how I did. Morning, it's 2 days later because I had such a hectic day yesterday, and I was like, I don't want to burn out on this challenge and not enjoy it anymore. So I gave myself a break, and I'm going to pull 2 today to make up for it. But here's what I did with my first granny square, which I feel quite sheepish about this. I pictured this challenge, like all the kind of lovely cool things you can do with granny squares and all the different ways you can kind of turn them into something or whatever. And the very first thing I've made, I feel like it's been successful, but I'm just a little bit sheepish about it. Like, it's not quite the aesthetic I was picturing for this video. Here it is. So for the dog walkers among you, yeah, this is exactly what you think it is. It's a roll of dog bags for your dog. And as you can see, I have taken the square and I've extended it a little bit and I've sewn it together with a gap. And this is to pop in my pocket and just pull whenever I need. Because my partner has one of these, like not handmade, like a little thing he bought. And it's actually, I kind of laughed at it a little bit, like, oh my God, like, why would you need that? And now I'm just like, every single time I'm in the park and I'm reaching to my pocket and accidentally pull like reams of dog bags out of my pocket, like some really crap magician, literally crap magician. Yeah, it's just really frustrating, and and I've been using this the last couple of days, and you know what? It keeps them very neat and tidy. It's easy to grab when I need to grab it quickly. It doesn't end up like, because there's a little bit of resistance, like not a lot, but enough. Yeah, so that's what I did with that. Just extended, did a little bit more of a border on it, sewed it together. I crocheted little circles for each end. Although honestly, if you've got the whole knit, you don't even need to do that. But yeah, okay, on to pulling squares and patches for today. Now I'm struggling to find them. First one. It's this little round cotton thing. This was when I was first getting back into crochet, and I kind of fell for that line of like you can make your own like makeup remover pads. So I made loads of them and then I realized that they're terrible. And I think it's the kind of thing you can probably sew your own makeup remover pads. And I'm kind of tempted to try that this year. But yeah, these are just, they're rough on the skin, the makeup, like not on this one because it's clean, but the makeup gets really ingrained. You feel like you're just scrubbing away. Like you might as well just, I feel like you would have a better result with a nicer, softer touch if you just used a flannel, and I don't want to use a flannel. These are all the ones I've got. There's a lot of them. And as you can see, I have woven in the ends. So what I'm going to do with these, I think, is I've seen a lot of patterns like this one with the blanket and the circles in the white. And I've got a lot of quite thick white cotton. And I'm thinking I'm going to, because there's about 15 in here, I'm going to turn them into squares, and I feel like this is quite sturdy and it doesn't have a lot of stretch, so it'd be really good for like a bag, and I'm just going to turn it into a bag over the next few days. I'll update you with my progress and then just donate it. I think someone's going to like it, or someone's going to buy it and unpick all of the stuff, and you know, it's still good, better use of the cotton. So yeah, that's my first one. Let's see what the next one is. Okay, so I think that I was trying out an African flower. Yeah, I think that's an African flower, I think. And I just, in the middle of doing it, realised I don't actually like the way the African flower square looks. Well, like I've seen nice versions of it, but I'm not making a nice one, I've realised. So there's that, and it's not woven in, so I could unpick this. I'm not sure what I would do with all the little bits of cotton that's left. So I'm going to have a think about this one, and I will update you tomorrow on how I do. Morning, it's day 4 of my Creative Advent Granny Square week. It's the 11th of Jan, and I'm here to update you on my progress from yesterday. Where I left you yesterday was that I had all of these little kind of cotton scrubby things that I made ages and ages ago. I used a few times, realised they were terrible, never used them again, but now I have loads of them left. So, and I could donate them as they are, but for a start, I don't think they're like well enough made for anyone to be intrigued by them. And also, I don't like donating stuff to charity shops that I know is crap. You know, I can imagine someone like me buying this thinking, oh, this will be good, and then it's just like they're really bad. So I don't want to do that. So what I had decided was to turn them into squares and to make a bag. And that's what I've been doing. So this is what it looks like at the minute. I just ended up making up the pattern to turn it into a square, partly because they're not completely even. I'm using the drops cotton that I had left over, which is a similar thickness to them. So, you know, you can't see any difference in like, you know, I didn't want it to be like sticking out or noticeably thicker than the cotton around it. Yeah, and so I've got them, these little scrubby pads in 2 different colours. One's a light blue and one's a dark blue. So I've been doing the light blue in the white, and I had a ball of the drops white. So I've got 6 of these, and then I started doing the darker blue, which you can barely tell the difference, I think, in this kind of maroon colour. To me, this is so kind of partly like US university, like varsity colours, but also it's just so like early 2000s to me. So I'm really enjoying this combination. Not enough to keep the bag myself, like I will be donating this when I'm done, but yeah, so this is how many I've done so far. And I'm kind of going back and forth on various constructions. The one I want to make is this one by Yarnspiration, because I feel like it just looks like a sturdier bag and like it would actually be more useful. But I don't have an even number of these little rounds, so I'm not going to end up with an even number of squares, and I'm starting to run out of the cotton, and I've still got all of these left to do. So I'm kind of going back and forth because I'm like, I could make 2 of this bag, or I could just make the traditional granny square bag, which I feel like is just like less effective because it's got that like the handle is quite narrow and in the middle, so I just feel like it does not carry the weight as well. So that's on my to-do list for today. My aim is when I update you tomorrow to have finished as many squares as I can, because I refuse to buy any more cotton for this. Like this is very much using up cotton I already have. So I've about this much cotton left to I want to have kind of like finished all these squares and have at least started on the construction. But yeah, I have had these in my stash probably for about, I want to say 3-4 years now. I think they were pre-pandemic. So very happy to be finally doing something with them. I haven't had this cotton in my stash long because I just used it to make a cardigan before Christmas, but also I was just looking at it constantly, just being like, oh, I should do something with that. So it's nice to use up this as well. So that's that. And yesterday I pulled two. So the other update I'm giving is on, you might remember these squares, or rather you might remember this surrounded by pale blue, because I thought I only had one and I thought it's got the, it's meant to be an African flower. I didn't like it. And I thought, oh, I haven't even woven the ends. I can just take it apart. And then I found 6 more of them. And I didn't want to unravel them all because it is like going to be tiny, tiny bits of cotton. Like if it was just one, I might unravel it and be like, okay, I could use that for like embroidery at some point or something. But no, that's not going to happen. So what I did was I took off the second layer of blue and I have made this. Hear me out. So what I'm picturing is a bucket hat. Because I think that the style for the way to do the top of a bucket hat is fairly intuitive. In terms of, it just seems to be like pick up from all of that and then decrease until you get to the middle, and then do a brim in a similar way. And I think that these aren't, like, I don't like them. They're not what I want, but I don't feel like they're horrible colours. They're done more recently than the rounds, so I know that they're a higher quality of crochet, like they're not going to come unraveled or anything. I do love the little flower in the middle, like the little orange one. I just don't like everything else about it. So I feel like I could turn this into a bucket hat and it'll be something that someone will discover in a charity shop and love. Or discover in a charity shop and post something completely bait on social media about like, oh, it's so tragic when handmade things are thrown away to charity shops. And it's like, nah, mate, it's just me, like, wanting to try making stuff, not liking how it turns out, donating. Anyway, sorry, I've just seen somebody post like that and I'm just like, it's really not a tragedy, guys. But anyway, I'm a bit stuck at the minute. I think I'm gonna have to slightly unpick because I think it's too narrow. Like that's not, like, I don't need it to be like around my head, but that's definitely not, it's sitting a bit too high, isn't it? I've got a bucket hat in contrast, and when I put this on, it feels like, honestly, it feels like the brim is sitting at a similar point to this, but I also don't want to do such a massive brim. But yeah, I think this has got slightly more give, and I do have a couple of extras of these squares. So that's my thing for today. Unpick, add in another one, make a final decision on that. So I feel like I've done a lot, but I'm already getting a bit sick of granny squares, not gonna lie. And I'm just really into knitting at the minute, and this is a lot of crochet. So when I pull the one today, what I'm hoping for, and I'm trying not to think about it too much, but what I'm hoping for is that I pull something that I'm just like, okay, yeah, I'm just going to unravel this. But yeah, let's see. Okay, I'm feeling around, but I'm running out of squares in this bag, and one keeps touching my hand, and I know what this is, but I think I just need to pull it because it's just getting in the way of me pulling any other squares. So yep. So this is a big old square. I love these colours. To me, these are very autumn. You know, it's that kind of classic mod cloth thing of like the green background with the red and cream fox on kind of vibe. What this was is I can't remember why I bought this wool, but I started making this just as I became a bit more aware of how much I don't necessarily like the feel of acrylic. So I realised like what I wanted to do was turn this into a cushion cover. But I realised that I didn't have enough to complete the square. Like this is a very, very small cushion. And I didn't want to buy any more to do the other side. So I just kind of stopped. And I've looked at this and been like, could I turn it into a bag? But I don't really want to do any sewing this week. I'm trying to organise my kind of craft room a bit. And my sewing machine is definitely not organised. And also I just don't want to do that. So and also annoyingly, I've woven some of the ends, but not all of them. So I'm not sure about this one. Like I know what I don't want to do with it, but I don't know what I do want to do with it. So maybe this is a good one to just kind of think on. All right, chat to you tomorrow. Morning, 12th of Jan, here with an update for you. So yesterday, I had the squares for the bag, and today I have the constructed bag. So the idea is that these are going to be the handles, which are going to be like that, and the rest of the bag is going to fold under. So it's going to be a bit like this. Kind of sort of looks like I've made a really weird crop top as well. I was so keen to get this kind of constructed. that I didn't block them, and now I realise I should have, so I'm going to block it as it is. So what I'm going to do today is going to wash it, because God knows last time these were washed, and pin it out. So I think that's going to take a couple of days because this is quite thick cotton. And I've also, and I'm so pleased with this, I have done the handle. So this was the last of the circles I have left, and this is going to be the handle for it. And I think I kind of would have liked to have done more, kind of like turn this into an actual rectangle, but I don't think I have enough cotton left. But I think it's still going to look quite cool. So yeah, I'm going to wash and block this as well. So, doing quite well with the bag. And then the hat, I'm actually loving way more than I expected to. So this is where we're at. I'm starting to, as you can see, I'm starting to go round and round and kind of do the top of the hat. And as it's getting pulled into the center, because it's just like single crochet and then 2 single crochet together to get it in. So it's starting to flare out a bit. It's starting to flare out a bit more at the bottom. So once I've done the top, I'm going to do the brim. Yeah, so I was thinking, am I going to end up with nothing for myself from this week apart from the dog bag? But now that this has got a lot more of the blue on it, I don't hate it as much as I thought I did. Like, part of me is like, is this actually for me? But yeah, gonna keep going. I think it's gonna get more and more tight and stretched as we get into the center. So I don't know if I'm gonna end up with some weird little peak sticking up. But yeah, it's been quite a good soothing project. I found loads more of this blue cotton. This is from a jumper I was making myself. Pre-pandemic, definitely. And the ribbing's really weird. Like, I don't know what was happening here. But yeah, so I'm just slowly unraveling that, and I'm definitely going to have enough left for the shirt I'm making and for the hat. So I'm not as worried as I was. Gonna keep going with that. By tomorrow, I kind of want to have finished at least the top of the hat and have started on the rim. And then, you remember I pulled a big square yesterday. So I just ended up doing that classic thing, which I always do and I always really love, of big granny square, bring all the points together, sew them, and turn it into a little pouch. That's the outside, that's the front. I've got a little wooden toggle, which I'm going to use to kind of like that. 1 minute. So this is one I did pretty much this time last year, where I had a random granny square and I just turned it into a big granny square and then folded it over to meet the corners. Like that. And this is what I use for my e-reader. This is a bit of a random shape. It's kind of iPad shape. I don't know, like, I'm not going to keep it, I don't think. I do love the colours, but I'm just like, I feel like someone else is going to love it more. Like, looking at it, I'm like, should I have just turned it into a scarf? But no. But yeah, that's been a pretty good project. This square has just been sitting on top of my scrap yarn for so long, just looking at me, and I'm just like, I don't know what you want. So yeah, I'm pretty happy with that. I'm not sure where the toggle for it is. So that's going to be a bit of a kind of treasure hunt. But yeah, that's done. And now I'm ready to pull the granny square for today. And I'm not sure how many I've got left in here, to be honest. Like, I was struggling to find one yesterday. Okay, found something. Looks familiar. Yep, it's another one of these. Why did I do so many of these? I honestly couldn't tell you. Haven't woven in the ends, so that's good. I don't know if this could be in the center of the hat. Like, I wait until the brim has got small enough for that to be in and then just attach it. I think I'm going to do that. Or at least I'm going to try it and see how that looks. Although, would it be better to kind of start going around it and turning it into a bigger circle? I don't know. I'm going to mess around with that today, and see how they fit together. All right then. See you tomorrow. Bye. Hey, it's the 13th of January, so I'm nearly at the, today's going to be the last one that I draw for today, and then I'm going to kind of have a day tomorrow to just work on finishing stuff off. Update for you is the bag is still blocking. I think as the cotton I used is so thick, I think it's going to be blocking way past the end of this video, to be honest, but I will try and have something to share with you. Here's the hat. So I managed to put the circle in the middle, and this is how it's looking. I did put a brim on and it was just really bad, so I've taken it off. And I'm going to try again tonight. So yeah, this is the hat so far. I think it sits quite nicely, like it comes down as far as I'd want to, and then I'm going to do a brim maybe that big to go on it, and then just gotta weave in all the ends and block it. It's been a fun project. I think it's going to be part of my Finish It February video because this is such fine cotton, and I'm using this teeny tiny hook, which is a 3. And yeah, it's just taking a long time. I'm really happy with how it's turning out. I don't think this is ever going to block out. Like, I think it's definitely going to have this kind of ripple, but I'll try and block it. We'll see how we go. Yeah, and that's my update. And now I'm ready to pull my final square from the bag. Okay, I cannot remember why I made this square. It's like a kind of the sunflower one, I think. Not my neatest stitching, it must be said, but it's not been woven in, so maybe if I weave it in, it'll get a bit neater. I definitely don't have any of this wool left. This looks grey, but it's actually a blue. But I do have another one of these, I know for sure, because I sorted out all of my extra squares. And even as I was sorting them out, I was thinking, you know what? If I have another one in the bag, fingerless gloves. I know I made like gloves in my last video, or mittens, and I'm willing to do it again. So I'm thinking I've got quite a bit of blue acrylic. It's not going to be these colours, but still in blue. So I could go around the square again, go across the back, as in like make a kind of like just attach yarn here and then just crochet straight. Leave a gap for the thumb when I crochet it. Leave a gap for the thumb when I crochet it up, and then create ribbing for here and maybe a tiny bit of ribbing for here at the top. And I think that could be a cool project. I haven't got any plans for this evening, so I can focus on it. And I do also have I have a meeting tomorrow for the kind of the local activist group I'm involved with. So, and I always appreciate a project for that. So this could be a kind of nice mindless project for that. Or maybe I'll work on the hat, but the hat is just like, yeah, no, I need to work on the hat, but I'll try and get this done tonight. I think this could be quite cool. All right, see you not tomorrow because I'm gonna have a day to finish everything up, but the day after. Bye. Hello. Look who found her microphone. Here to do an update for you on the final projects that I did. So I have finished the bag. Do kind of love it. Very much not really my thing, but I mean it's also not very practical seeing as how open it is. I'm thinking I could do a couple of little catches, but I think it's more like one to maybe just have hanging up. Like part of me is like I could use it, like I could hook it over a curtain frame and use it for like have a plant in or something. I don't know. I feel like it'd be cool with a plant with a kind of like rust colour flowers or leaves maybe, but yeah, haven't worked that out yet. But very, very happy with this. In terms of what it started out as. And I finished the hat. So here it is. Looks a little bit more dweeby than I envisage it looking. You know, in my head I'm wearing it on like a beautiful sunny summer day and I've actually got my makeup on and yeah, but I mean, really, really happy with the construction. I like the flowers a lot better. Yeah, just did a brim. It's quite a good brim. I think it can turn up or it can go down, so that's nice. But yeah, really happy with that as well. And then we get to the gloves, because that was the last square I pulled, and they don't look bad either. Oh hey, yeah. So I did another layer around. So this creamy grey, just make them a bit bigger, which actually I don't think I need to do. Like I think they are a bit big on me, ironically considering last week I made gloves that were too small. I don't think I need to do that extra layer. I think I could have just done it with this, but then I did a just straight across, and I did cuffs. I was thinking, do I need to do a cuff at the top? But I think I like having my wrists warm. You know, I don't want to, and I like something that is slightly tighter at the top of my hands as well. I don't know why I'm making all these decisions, considering I am probably going to donate them. I do like them. It was an interesting construction. I definitely would make them again in colours that I wear more. These are actually the colours of my primary school, so I can never ever actually wear yellow and blue and grey together. Like it's just not, psychologically it's impossible for me. But yeah, pretty happy with how they worked out. Could imagine making them in like a kind of black, white and red maybe. Yeah, and we'll just make the square a bit smaller. And also I feel like I did the cuffs in a really annoying way where I did them separately and then attached them. But I think I would actually try and make an effort to just attach them as I'm going next time. rather than have to have a separate seam. But yeah, those are my projects. So we've got all of them, and bear in mind the hat was 2 squares, and I've also got the dog bag holder. Yeah, just really, really happy with how this week has gone. Made a lot of quite robust stuff. Like, I did not think I'd make so much stuff. Yeah, good amount. So this is the end of the video. I do have another 2 weeks worth of stuff in the bag, but I don't think I'm going to film that. Partly because I've realised that my essential process for it is going to be the same each time, so I don't know, that would be very interesting. You know, in terms of like pulling it out, working out what to make, going away, making it. Like, I don't think there's going to be much variation there. I am also going to be struggling to film a little bit over the next few weeks just because of life being life. So I am gonna keep pulling them, but I also realised that I'm just so into cables at the minute. I'm making this really, really gorge little cable jumper for a baby. Yeah, not for me. And I just want to practice cabling. Like, I'm making the red cardie for myself, I'm doing this, I've got the wool now for another cable jumper for my mum, and I've got the wool for a cable jumper for my partner, and I feel like a lot of the balls I'm going to be pulling from now on are just going to be practicing cable stitching, I think. But yeah, thanks for joining me on this. You know, do the YouTube stuff, like, subscribe, do whatever you want. Bye.